Before we close, quick reminder. If you've been listening to this podcast and you know you do not need more information, you need structure. We built something for that. The Eminence Circle. A discipleship leadership room for people who are done drifting and ready to take responsibility for their own life. It's application-based and limited. If that sounds like you, go to eminencelegacylife.com and apply. Some people listen, others build. It's time to build your legacy. Before we step into today's conversation, I want you to know something. Right now, I'm not in the studio. I'm out here in Tennessee, under an open sky, quiet night, stars stretched out like reminders that there's something bigger than what we deal with every day. And I choose to still show up and record this right here, like this, because you matter, not just as listeners, but as people walking through real life, real pressure, real questions. There's something different about speaking into a mic when you're outside, when everything slows down, when it's just you, your thoughts, and God, listening before anyone else does. So before we go any further, just know this. Wherever you are listening from tonight, you are not alone in this. You are seen. You are covered in prayer. And this moment right here, this isn't just another episode. This is a conversation meant to meet you exactly where you're at. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you actually felt your life? Not managed it, not handled it, not go through the day. I mean, actually felt it. Welcome back to the Eminence Legacy podcast. I'm host Luis Cadena. And if you've been doing everything right, but something still feels off, this one's going to hit. There are people listening right now in the United States, in the United Kingdom, and across the world, living structured lives, responsible lives, disciplined lives. But internally, something doesn't connect. You wake up, handle what needs to be handled, show up for people, take care of responsibilities, and at the end of the day, you call that living. Let me say this clearly. You are not burned out. You are not overwhelmed. You are disconnected. I've been there before, where you didn't fall apart. You just slowly stopped feeling your life. And the dangerous part, it didn't happen all at once. It happened gradually, slowly, quietly. One day you cared deeply. Now you just function. You have trained yourself to perform, to execute, to be consistent, to keep going no matter what. And that's discipline. But somewhere in the process, you stopped checking in with yourself. You became efficient, but disconnected. And let's be honest, this didn't just happen to you. You allowed it. Because functioning is easier than feeling. Feelings requires honesty, awareness, slowing down. Functioning, you can do that on autopilot. So now you live in this space where nothing is falling apart, but nothing feels alive either. You are not struggling enough to change, but you are not fulfilled enough to feel satisfied. And that's a trap right there. You don't have a motivation problem. You don't have a discipline problem. You have a presence problem. You are there physically, but not internally. And this is where it gets deeper. You were created to live with intention, to feel life, to be aware of where you are and who you're becoming, not just to go through it unchecked. Because doing everything right externally means nothing if you are disconnected internally. So what do you do? Not everything, just this. Start noticing your own life again. Not just what you do, but how you feel while doing it. Stop numbing everything with emotion. Constant movement isn't progress. Sometimes it's avoidance. Reconnect on your purpose. Make sure your why has not changed. Slow down long enough to actually be present in your own life. So ask yourself this. Are you actually living your life right now or just managing it? And if you're honest, how long has it felt like this? And next, we're stepping into something deeper because everything gets quiet late at night. You do not function anymore. You feel. And that's where the real question shows up. This is not for everyone. But if this hits you, you already know why. Legacy builders do not just perform, they stay aware. They stay vigilant. So do not just listen to this. Stay connected. Follow the podcast. Make sure to subscribe, share, so you don't drift back into autopilot. And if you're listening through a link right now or on Chrome, take a second and follow us on Spotify or Apple, because this isn't something you check in on. It's something you built with. See, most people will hear this and go right back to functioning the same routine, same pattern, same disconnected life. But a small percentage will stop and actually look at themselves. The question is, which one are you? This is the Eminence Legacy podcast. And remember, you do not need a new life. You need to reconnect to the one you are already living. Together, let's rise to our eminence. Catch you on the next one. This episode of Eminence Legacy podcast is brought to you by FE26 Legion. Built for disciplined, not the distracted. Every FE26 design is released for a limited season and then retired into the vault. No restocks, no reruns. If you're wearing FE26, it's not because you followed a trend. It's because you live by a standard. Find the current season at fe26legion.com. Discipline remains. The Legion endures.